Okay, I think we're live. Okay, good morning. This is Gray Gloria, aka Social Gray on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network. Today we're continuing our monthly segment called Startup Blog Insights with author entrepreneur Taffy Williams, who's the co-founder and CEO of Colonial TDC, which offers a professional team of scientists and business experts to build and grow medical and technology companies. Which really that's how we met Taffy. So Taffy also writes on his own personal blog with his own personal advice called Startup Blog. So this is just a show that kind of highlights and goes a little bit deeper into some of Taffy's thoughts on one of his articles that he's read. So anyway, good morning, Taffy, and welcome to Startup Blog Insights for September, live from North Carolina, right?
Hi, how are you doing? I mean, we got sunshine already, and it may still be dark where you are, but
Yeah, well, fall. I could feel fall's coming. It's our Indian summer, and you know that sun in the fall, at least out here in the West, is very warm and
yeah.
hot. So we're feeling it right now, and I'm sure the fall leaves are starting to turn in your area, right?
Not yet. Although
Oh yeah.
we finally got rain after quite a bit of time. You could probably use a bit of it. It's
Yeah,
actually drizzling right now. Yeah.
bring some back with us. Bring some back when you visit here next time. Yeah, we need it here. So, but anyway, we're gonna talk about entrepreneurs and paying it forward this month. So we'll use your article called "Four Ways Entrepreneurs Pay It Forward." So I thought this was a fascinating article because I think a lot of the people I work with, at least in this area, always kind of ask me, and part of the conversations I have with a lot of these startups is, how do I help some people? Is there some really good ways? And I liked your article because it talked about four ways to do that. So in your article, you suggested four ways that entrepreneurs can help people, and and it was very thought provoking, and I think people want to hear about this. Is that you said that many people want to help others in some manner, but find little time to get involved. I see this all the time being in Japantown. And you suggested a list of four items that entrepreneurs can pay it forward. And Pay It Forward was a 2000 movie with a young star that really kind of, it was about, a recipient of a favor does a favor for three other people by paying it back. So it was the idea of paying it forward. So they're helping three more people than the which is greater than the one thing that they did for someone else, right? So
Yeah. I actually liked the movie, by the way. It was a good movie.
yeah, great movie. So anyway, Tabby, let's talk about your list. Let's talk about the obvious. Well, I think it's obvious, but helping the less fortunate. So tell us about your thoughts there.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that can use help in different ways, and they're not always people that don't have financial resources. It might be somebody that has gone through a very difficult time. Maybe they got a very sick family member, and by doing something to help be more comforting would be useful. As you walk around San Francisco, it's not hard to find people that may be less fortunate. You never quite know. Or New York, it's the same. There are a lot of people there, and you never know whether you can be helpful or not. But sometimes it might be, you can help by buying them a meal or two, or sitting down and talking to them. Maybe they blend into the background. They don't have anybody there. You might have organizations that you could work with. That would be a Salvation Army, or maybe your church has a relationship with some shelter, and you or soup kitchen, and you can provide. In fact, one time last year when I was in California, I had to be careful getting around down where Macy's was, because they were giving away free turkeys at the soup kitchen, and that people were just lined up getting them. But if you think about it, think about the impact you might have on someone who is less fortunate. And not everybody will receive that and be able to proceed to have a better life as a result. But occasionally, you may have a significant impact by reaching someone at a time of need and do something for them that might help them over a hurdle that will allow them to progress and finally become have a better lifestyle, get over those very difficult times. And in doing so, there's a positive event, and those people may help someone in the future because they got helped at some time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think, in a lot of the startup meetings that I am at, I'm really kind of blessed sometimes to, see this is that, let's say, we ordered food for a meeting like sandwiches and stuff like that, right? What we would do is we would just take the extra sandwiches instead of putting it in the refrigerator. We would actually give it to some of the homeless people outside.
Yeah.
So
well, what I've done on occasion is I have been approached by people, and I never quite know whether they are really in need or not, because I've got some people that make more money than I do begging on the street. But I have oftentimes on occasions gone into a place with the person and said, okay, order what you want. And in one case, there was a family that approached me saying they needed a place to spend the night. The wife was pregnant, the car was broke down. Don't know if that was the case. I says, okay, drive across the street to that place over there. I took them to a hotel. I paid in advance for a night along with some money for breakfast the next morning. And it says, okay, goodbye. I don't know whether they really were in need, but they certainly had a place to spend the night if they needed it. And, so you always have that thing of where you may have been scammed, but you may have actually helped somebody over a very tough time, and you just don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think it has to come from your heart, and if it's sincere, I feel, you will let the chips.
Yeah, I just like, okay, I did it, and then forget it, and and you hope it benefited somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, let's move to the next one, which is another, entrepreneurs can help with money, but I think you can explain that one a little bit.
Oh, the next one on the list was youth and employees.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, youth and employees. Yeah. So we can help. Think about it this way. Everybody that works in an organization, there has an individual that's above them generally, and those individuals could have had an impact on their career. Not always, but I've had within my lifetime individuals that were my supervisors or mentors, that as a result of them taking extra time and working with me, helped to coach and provide insight into how to do things that I, could have gotten in trouble with, or if I got in trouble, they would have helped me talk me out of the issues. There's a way that you can help provide those experiences to others and help teach and that would benefit. Now, I've been the recipient of that, and I've also tried as much as I can to help. This blog that I write, I don't get paid for this. The book, Think Agile, I don't make any money off of that. Why did I write them? Because I'm hoping that people will derive benefit from it. I'll never know. Occasionally I'll get a note from somebody, gee, this was a cool article and I find value in it, but rarely do I get any feedback saying that anybody does it. I'm hoping that they derive benefit. So you have to sometimes do stuff without looking for that tangible things. You have to be willing to do that and recognize that, that maybe somebody will benefit from it somewhere, and you do it that way. So the people you help today can become tomorrow's leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I've noticed about you, I know that I don't do this a lot, but I notice that if I send you a quick email, you'll always respond to me. Now we know each other, of course, but I always thought that was really genuine of you to actually stop what you're doing in the middle of your day, because I know you have 10,000 things to do, and just quickly answer my email saying, hey, why don't you look at this? Why don't you look at that? I mean, and it doesn't take very long. You're not writing a big treatise on how to solve the problem, but you're putting me in the right direction.
You're writing me and asking me for help. I get people writing me wanting money or wanting, trying to sell me something. I mean, on LinkedIn, you got people who ask to be a connection, and then you immediately get this thing trying to sell you services. That says, okay, wait a second, you're missing the point of how networking works. Go back and read my article on networking. It's in there.
Totally.
Don't cold call me. Don't send me crap. you want help. If it's reasonable and it looks like something that's I can help with, sometimes I try to help people. But I don't. My help is not going out and selling, and paying you for services that I don't want.
Right, right. No, totally. And going down that path. Sorry, I skipped over that helping youth and employees, but yeah, look, I know what you're talking about that. Yeah. Oh man. Well, let's get into money. Let's talk about money.
Money is kind of an unusual thing. In your company, you may be able to provide financial assistance to people or to organizations. I mean, look at some of the billionaires. I mean, Bill Gates and his foundation has managed to get a number of billionaires to agree to give half of what they own to the foundation. Now, you can't take the money with you, and more than likely, it's going to get taxed at some crazy level when it finally gets passed along. If you have the ability to put money in an organization that can help others, there's a benefit, and it doesn't have to be a lot. If you don't have a lot, but if you can give money to organizations, that may help someone someplace else. It's kind of a second or third string down from where you are, but there's a value to that. And if you have enough money, you can create your own charitable trust, and you can actually set up a charity that could be what you might really have as a passion. And so there's an ability to make use of some of those resources that you have to share with others. And go back and look at what the Pope's been talking about in his entire visit. Share what you got. It's not a bad thing. And it doesn't have to be, anything other than trying to be helpful to others, because maybe someday they'll be able to be helpful to somebody else, and maybe the world will be a little bit better place because of it.
Yeah, I think people miss the point with the money thing too. I think they think that sometimes, they look at the amount more than just the actual act.
Yeah.
And I think, it really depends, like you said, it depends what place you are in life. If you're fairly well off, maybe you could give a little bit more than the other guy. But if you're not, but even that little tip jar, at the restaurant, that helps out, right?
We've had organizations come through our church that, have had things that kind of strike me as being, okay, yeah, that's something I can identify with. So we've had one group that came through, and they were working with AIDS patients in Africa, trying to help provide food. And what they were doing was selling loaves of bread. And they actually had a financial benefit, group within New York that would match large donations. And I'm sitting there saying, okay, feeding hungry people that are sick is a good thing. So, I went up and talked to the guy and says, I'm going to send you a little bit of money. And I says, are you sure this guy will match it? And he says, yes. So I just sent the money. So you find things like that. And I think that I did something, and I hope that I did something that will help some people. They will never know that I was involved, but I don't care. I just hope that it helped them.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's, I think the whole premise of this article is really about giving, giving to someone, giving, just the act of it, so.
Well, all the stuff that I write, like I told you before, it says, these are experience. Everything that I have is based on an experience. Nothing that I write is not based on some experience. So the whole thing, everything that I write is designed to be giving to others, and I'm hoping that somebody will gain some benefit from it somewhere.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, let's move to the last one, which I thought was the most interesting of the list. It caught me not by surprise, but it's like, wow, made me think about this. It's called memory. So what do you mean by that?
Well, if you read my book, Think Agile, you'll see that in the up front, there were people I acknowledged that were very instrumental in helping me learn things in my life. And I have those memories of those individuals as being giving without expecting anything in return. Giving maybe could have been in an educational position. They might have been in a mentoring position. It might have been a boss. It might have been something, but they went above and beyond anything that I would think that those people should have had to do. I remember that. And when I see other people and find an opportunity to give that back to others, I believe that because I was fortunate enough to have that, I try to do that for other people. So the point is that when someone recognizes there are people out there that will give without expecting a lot in return, the hope is that maybe on an occasion they'll do the same thing. So you create these positive memories. Plus, if you have someone who's down and out, I think we mentioned that, I mentioned that to you before, the thing where we ended up doing something to help an individual that was really down and out, just one person. You're hoping that individual will eventually benefit from it, be able to get their feet, back under them, be able to move on and actually become a positive contributor to society. And you're hoping that someplace down the road that it'll be they will have remembered that and help someone else.
Yeah, totally. I think that a lot of times, I think just recently you made me think about this because someone was asking me, they wanted to write an article, about me, just they wanted to know my background, and they sent me all these questions, like typically what they do for articles. They don't interview like we do here, but they write, they just send you a bunch of questions, right? And one of the questions is who in your life was someone that made some great impacts in your life, right? And you're right, it's those memories or those reflections. I guess I call it reflections,
right? I had somebody that worked for me once that we used to have a joke when I was in high school that you have rectooptitis.
Interesting.
That's when the nerves in your rear end are crossed with the nerves in your eyes, and you have a crappy outlook on life.
Oh my God!
Well, I had a guy that worked for me once. That if you look up curmudgeon in the dictionary, I swear his name would have been right there. There was never anything the guy could do or say that seemed positive ever about anybody. Well, I don't know whether he had been mistreated in his life. I don't know whether he really felt that way. But, if everybody you work with is a jackass, well, you're going to develop an attitude to be a jackass. Your hope is that you can have people that work with you that are nice from time to time, at least one.
Oh my gosh, Taffy, you just cracked me up on that one, man. Wow. Well, yeah, like I said, I think the whole premise of your whole article, at least what I took out of it, and I encourage everyone out there who's listening to this interview to kind of go read it, is really about giving and letting and just creating a better world through that, right? So, yeah. And I really appreciate your thoughts on all this. Let's close off the interview. And you have a lot of things to do, and I appreciate your time here. So how can listeners get a hold of you and get a hold of your book that's been out for a little while now?
Well, go to the lower corner and you'll see colonialtdc.com, and that's the website for the company. There's also a website for the book, thinkagilebook.com. The book is available through any number of online sources. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it in Barnes and Noble online. There's quite many of the onlines have it. Yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, but yes, it is available in quite a number of places, and they can order it online. Right now, Amazon selling it for like $17.95. All of the articles and reference to those are found at colonialtdc.com or in the book website, and you can find those things there, and as well as getting access to the first 2 chapters, which you can read. I think that's available in a couple of places, so you give you a sense if you like it. So I'm hoping that people will get something out of it. No,
you've been getting a lot of interviews about that book, so I'm really grateful. Yeah.
Over the year, I've done quite a number, and I'm now getting to the point where I'm now getting back to only focusing on new stuff for the startup blog, and I'm trying to get it where I consolidate and move everything over to that and just work on that one thing, because I got tired of being in so many different. One of the articles I wrote for startup blog, as I told you, was here's 24 articles that you might not have seen. Well, there were 24 articles that weren't in the Examiner when I was writing for them, because I recently stopped doing that, and they were in other places, and there were interviews, and I says, I had to consolidate and get them where people could find them, and I'm now trying to get everything into this one location.
I think you're just too popular now, so you'll have to kind of pick your battles.
Either that or I got tired of doing so many things and just want to deal with one.
There's something in there, I think. So anyway.
If I'm not going to make money, why not make, if I'm not going to make money doing this, I might as well not make money by doing it into one place as opposed to 20.
Taffy, you're an entrepreneur at your core, so that's how you think. I know that. I appreciate that. So anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. I appreciate that. So anyway, that was Taffy Williams of Colonial TEC, as you heard. You can catch him on his startup blog, where he writes a lot of articles about entrepreneurship, startups, and just common sense sometimes. So anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Greg Valoria, aka Social Greg, on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. And thanks again, Taffy. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.